So far that was my one throwing up extravaganza. It was awful, but I do feel pretty sure now that the cramping I was feeling was just intense gas, because at that evening after I, let's see, I'm trying to think of when I stopped running to the bathroom. The middle of the night sometime. But at that point it was like, okay, I'm going to try to lay down and go to sleep now. And I got a hot water bottle and put it on that region, and it helps too. But it was just, the cramping was crazy. I was like, this seems like labor-like, even though I know it's not, and it doesn't hurt that much, obviously. It was just so weird, and I think it was gas built up from my body going, hey, don't like what's going on in here. And it took me a while to fall asleep because it was like so intense. And actually the gas got kind of worse later on in the evening than just running to the bathroom and stuff, the gas with that. So really strange way of things happening, but it makes me happy. I'm like, hey, my body, something about my body knew what was going on, and it was like, hey, you don't want that. So I think the moral of the story is you got to listen to your body. You know, if you're craving something, you should eat, you know, that kind of thing. I don't think you necessarily eat the thing you're craving. Like if you're craving ice cream, there's like, that's not really the best thing to eat, like, you know, because there's so much sugar in it. Like, what's the point? But if you're craving ice cream, you're probably craving like the good fat that's in milk and like some of that protein. So like maybe get you some cheese instead, you know, that kind of thing. And if you're craving sugar, have a fruit, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's a really good idea to listen to your body at this stage, I would say. And with that being said, I wanted to kind of like shoot off a little bit and talk a little bit about other body changes that I've experienced. So my boobs are still big and like kind of sore and tender. And I've noticed that my nipples have gotten darker. Like the color has changed a little bit. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see, what else have I noticed? Because I write all this stuff down because I'm worried I'm going to forget. Oh, and we told a few people about the pregnancy. So that's exciting. Mostly friends. And the response was good. And so that was a good feeling to kind of not just have it between us, which I liked. You know, there's like, what two people know. It's not like a thing, but it's nice to have, you know, to be able to tell, you know, my friend, hey, like, you know, this, I'm feeling this, and to her to say, oh, I remember feeling that too. So it's really nice to feel that way. So this week also, we started weighing ourselves. I guess, yes, the baby and I started weighing ourselves. I started weighing myself just because I didn't before, and I didn't do my pre-pregnancy weight. I forgot, which was stupid. So this week what do I weigh? I weigh 148 pounds, which is kind of what I was before, I think, if I'm guessing. That's probably my average weight is generally 140 to 150. I mean, 145 to 150 all the time. And I am, how tall am I? 5'6.5". Which according to the internet says my body mass index is like the average, you know, whatever range, blah, blah, blah. But I know I'm average because I physically work and I do stuff on the farm, and it's pretty strong, and I'm, you know, not out of shape, but I'm not like a runner or anything like that. I just am always moving. So I feel comfortable enough with that assessment. And that's also why I feel positive about my body, and I hope I continue feeling positive about it as it changes. And I, you know, want to share my numbers with you because I think it's silly the way people don't want to share their weight. Who cares? Or their height. Who cares? So I really honestly don't care at all. So that's my information. Right now I'm 148. And then we also took some pictures. Jason took some pictures of me, you know, front, side, back, just to see how my body changes over the few weeks. Because I know right now it's not going to look much different, except my boobs are big. That's pretty much all that's different. And I do think that maybe just from having the throwing up episode, but even before that, I kind of thought like, for the first few weeks that I thought I was pregnant, but I wasn't sure, I felt kind of bloated and stuff. But when the kind of, the nausea started happening instead of the cramping and the bloating, I think that I've sort of started to lose weight from my midsection and maybe even my legs a little bit, which makes sense because that's where you store some of your fat. Your butt and your legs, especially, a lot of the fat there has a lot of good stuff in it that what a baby would be like, hey, I'm taking this fat to build myself. So I think I'm losing a little bit of fat, that nutritional quality is going to the baby. So, I think that's why, you know, hopefully I'll get hungrier because I feel like I've not been eating as much. because I can't tell if I'm hungry, because I'm like, am I hungry? But then the food is stuck here, and am I nauseous? It sucks. But I think it'll change, because every 3 days I feel like something's different. So you just have to be along for the roller coaster ride. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're kind of doing, I guess Jason and I, but it's my body, doing like prenatally and nutritionally. And we kind of follow, I don't know if you've ever heard of a Weston A. Price diet, but it's sort of an ancestral nutrition diet. It's not, it might sound hokey, it's really not. It's like, mostly we eat foods that would have been available to our ancestors, because we evolved to be able to digest foods because of having digested them. And some people can digest gluten differently and processed gluten. Some people can't, you know, dairy, things like that. So we generally eat a lot of meat and a lot of fat, but not just meat, you know, because if you just do a lot of protein without fat, that's not good. That actually is negative for your body. So we do a lot of meat and fat. We eat a lot of fatty meats, a lot of organ meats too, like hearts and livers and things like that. A lot of broths. And then we do a lot of vegetables, a lot of, I think I said before, I don't do too many carbohydrates, but we'll do some of the naturally occurring carbohydrates like sweet potatoes. And for a while, I wasn't really eating any fruit even. And that's a separate story. I had an issue with an overgrowth of candida in my body a year ago that I've since, I believe, pretty much solved. I wanted to solve before getting pregnant. And I have solved, which is good. There isn't an overgrowth anymore. And because candida feeds on sugar. So that's why I stopped all of this and why I changed my diet even more, because I also knew we were going to try to get pregnant. But just, you know, side note to that, I really don't plan to change this diet ever. I plan to continue on this path because I feel a million times better even than I felt before, which was great. But since, like, especially this week, kind of with the nausea starting, I've really been wanting fruit, like apples and things. It feels like a clean, easy thing to eat, and my body won't reject it. So I've been doing, you know, sugar via fruits lately because it feels like a great thing to do. And yeah, so that's kind of the way we eat. And so there was a lot of emphasis that we spent over the past 6 months, especially focusing on getting healthy before getting pregnant, which is really important, because especially during a time like this, when morning sickness happens, a lot of your baby's nutrients are coming from what you've already saved up for it. So if you've saved up, you know, a whole lot of kind of fast food type nutrients, which isn't very much, or, you know, food deep fried in canola oil that's a little bit rancid, that's not going to be the best, you know, nutritional quality there that the baby will be drawing from. So I really strove to have, I mean, I eat fast food too sometimes, the best possible, you know, saved up batch of nutrients available, like a lot of saved up folate, a lot of, you know, saved up vitamin A and vitamin D and like choline and all that stuff that's really important that you know, they don't always talk about as much. Ate a bunch of duck eggs because we raise ducks and we raise them for their eggs. And so they have so much more nutrition in them than chicken eggs, just by nature of the way they are. They're more concentrated fat content. So fat holds a lot of more of those vitamins than the water would in a chicken egg. So I, you know, eat like between 2 and 4 duck eggs a day. And lately that's been hard because duck eggs seem disgusting. Just eggs seem disgusting. But I'm feeling pretty positive that I have a 6 months, well, more like a year, but at least 6 months of super solid, like intense nutrient dense food saved up in my system and stored in my fat that I believe that will be easy to draw from. But in addition to that, I believe that I've probably been consuming enough folate, because there's actually a good bit of folate in duck eggs. But that concerns me. I really want to make sure I get enough folate. I did not start taking a prenatal vitamin before getting pregnant, and I do not take a prenatal vitamin now because we did the research and decided that it would be better to absorb those nutrients that they put in the prenatal vitamin through their actual natural state, as opposed to the, you know, extracted vitamin form and put in a pill, or, you know, even if it's like a food-based prenatal vitamin. We did a lot of looking into it for a lot of months and decided to go with getting it from the food's natural state. The exception to that is I really felt nervous about folate, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough folate. And so Jason, they tell you to take folic acid, which is just the, you know, created version of folate. Folate is how it naturally occurs. And some people actually can't, if you have a certain gene issue, you can't actually process folic acid and use it as folate in the body. It's something like that. So he got me an actual folate pill. I don't know if I can process folic acid or not. That's what they put in grains and cereals to kind of help you out if you don't think you get enough of it. But I don't eat those. So he got me this. He got me methylfolate, which is a more stable bioavailable form of folate. And I've been taking one of these a day. Not every day, but like off and on. And I started before getting pregnant. And so just been doing that. And then also this I've been doing for months and months. I would recommend this to just literally anybody, is cod liver oil, a fermented cod liver oil. And this is a really good brand because there's a lot of brands out there that it could be rancid. There's issues with it. So you've got to do your research. And this is amazing because it gives you like so much vitamin A, so much vitamin D, and those vitamins are super important in forming your baby. Lots of other good stuff in this too. So I would really recommend you looking into this. So I've been taking these two things. Of course, I'm not a doctor and I can't tell you what to do, but this is what I'm doing. So if you wanted to know, this is what I'm doing. And then also too, he got me a probiotic, which is a really good multi-strain probiotic that actually is, it's nice to kind of trade your probiotics off sometimes too, so that your body can have some different positive flora going on in there. And so we have this one, which is a lot of the probiotic in it is a soil-based probiotic, which is, I think, more accessible just for your body to use and that kind of thing. So that's where we are with that. And I think I gave you all the updates that I could think about with being 6 weeks pregnant. And so we're hoping soon in the next month or so to go to an appointment and to tell more people around New Year's what we're thinking. And I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous. And I think the issue now is me just trying to get through this weird nausea state. It seems different all the time, and I just have to wake up and try to cope with it through the day. You know, that's the way it goes, I guess. Life is just a bunch of coping and having fun along the way. So thanks so much for listening, as usual. And I really hope that if you have a question or a comment, you'll leave a comment on the video below. And yeah, thanks a bunch. I enjoy making these videos because I get to document this cool time. And I hope you enjoy listening to them. So I will see you again soon, and I appreciate you. Bye.